It's time for Weber State basketball, a beautiful campus here in Ogden, Utah, and the Wildcats host in-state rival Utah State. Wildcat Sports on KJAZ, presented by Health Mart Pharmacies and by Larry H. Miller Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Riverdale. The D-Event Center, it'll be rocking tonight. Hi, everybody. Steve Brown along with Joe Cravens. We do have a basketball game to play, but we would be remiss, Joe, if we did not pass along our condolences and our thoughts and prayers to the families of those in Paris today. A horrendous terrorist attack and just a tough day, obviously, in the French capital. Certainly. But we turn our attention to lighter fare here in Ogden. And how did you feel as a coach? Did you like to open against an in-state rival?
Well, these two teams have done it the last 2 years in a row, so they find out pretty quick where they're at. But this is a great opener, Steve. Both teams picked to be very successful within their league. Both teams returning 4 starters. And for a kicker, Tim Duryea coaching his first game at Utah State, the start of a new era up there.
Well, let's talk about Weber because they've got some talent on this team, but one guy stands literally head and shoulders above the rest.
Joe Ballenboy at 6'9", with arms like well ropes on him, can get to the rim in a hurry. Already the all-time leading shot blocker in the history of Weber State and the third leading rebounder. He is set to have an outstanding senior year.
Yeah, he's a guy who was a double-double guy last year. He likes to play around the rim. That's 6'9", but he plays much bigger.
No, and he can go out on the floor, too. He can shoot it in from 3, like I say. Not only does he have great size, he is quick off his feet with those long arms, and his feel for the game just keeps getting better each season.
Now, for Utah State, some interesting storylines. First of all, let's talk. You mentioned a new head coach after all those years of Stu Morrill. That's number one. But how about that middle storyline right there?
That is a shell shocker there. David Collette leaving the team 2 days before they open the season. We'll have to visit about that more later. That shocked the entire world of college basketball.
And then Jalen Moore, he's a guy who gets it done for them. No stranger to this building either, but he is kind of their Mr. Everything.
He might be the best returning inside-out player in the Mountain West Conference. He is silky smooth. He is quick to the basket. He can shoot it in for 3. He's got a very high basketball IQ and a wonderful young man off the court.
All right, well, we're just about ready for tip-off in-state basketball. It doesn't get any better than this to open the season, so sit back, relax from the D-Event Center. You've got the best seat in the house as the Aggies and Wildcats collide.
Wildcat Sports on KJAZ are presented by Health Mart, your locally owned Ogden area Health Mart pharmacies, caring for you and about you. By Larry H. Miller Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Riverdale. Live here, work here, buy here. And by America First Credit Union. Members come first.
And welcome back, everybody, here at the D-Event Center in Ogden, Utah, as the Wildcats and Aggies continue to warm up. And we'll find out which of these two in-state teams is going to start the season with a win, Joe Cravens.
Well, this is the second year in a row, as we mentioned in the open, that they have opened with each other. Last year up in Logan, in a very interesting game. Weber State goes up to Logan, one of the toughest places to play in college basketball, and jumps out to an 18-point halftime lead. The Aggies come back and win the game by 11.
Yeah, there's a little payback, I'm sure, on the part of the Weber State Wildcats. Here's a look at Tim Duryea, as you mentioned, coaching his first Division I basketball game tonight after all those years. 14 seasons as an assistant to Stu Morrill, but 17 years for Stu Morrill, so the changing of the guard, he'd love to get an in-state win under his belt.
Very well deserved his appointment as a head coach. He knows the culture up there. I think the continuity has served the football staff and program very well, and I hope it does the same thing for Tim Duryea.
Yeah, here's a look at him. Of course, Randy Ray on the other side has had such a great career here and just continues to win his 10th season with the Wildcats. Damian Lillard really put this place on the map, and he makes no bones about how having Damian Lillard in the NBA gets him into all kinds of homes that he never could have dreamed of before.
Randy Ray, 7 of the last 8 seasons his team has been picked to win the Big Sky, showing what level he's taking this program to.
And as you pointed out, they are picked to win this Big Sky Conference. Last year, kind of I think a disappointing season for them, but they've got those 4 starters back, and they have experience under their belt.
Well, 13-17, the first losing year in his 9 years here, but you can tell the respect that the media and the rest of the conference has picking them to win the league this season with 4 returning starters.
Well, now we're going to get the lights dimmed as the Weber State Wildcats starting lineup is going to be announced. And of course, these fans ready to get into the excitement of the regular season. They've already had a preseason win here, but they would love nothing better than to start out by taking one from the Ags.
They played Southern Virginia here last Saturday night. Of course, won by a bunch. A lot of guys got a chance to play. They got Jeremy Singlin back in the lineup after missing the last 6 games last year. So, as I said, this will tell both these teams where they're at pretty quick.
A good crowd tonight, too.
Weber State averages 6,800 people, by far and away leads the Big Sky in attendance, and great basketball fans here, not just in Ogden, but the whole state of Utah.
Well, you're getting a look at that Wildcat scoreboard, and you can hear the reaction when these fans are getting a look at their Weber State Wildcats in the dark, and they'll be coming into the light here in just a moment. This is a great time of year because everybody's unbeaten. And, Joe, you know the anticipation is great. The reality of losses sets in at some point in time, but right now it is that hope springing eternal.
It's like spring training in baseball. Everyone thinks they're going to be good. And the great thing about the level of this game, Steve, most teams, as you look around, open up with cupcakes, teams that they're going to beat 20 or 30 points. This is a very competitive level game here. A lot of Aggie fans here to add to the atmosphere. This is just a great opener for college basketball.
Yeah, no question about it. You saw Ballenboy just a moment ago, and he is really going to have to carry the load this year.
Well, at 6'9", again with telescoping type arm, he is one of the best big athletes in the Western United States. And can you imagine, as many good players have been here at Weber State, after 3 years, he already holds the block shots record with an entire season to go.
And the lights come on now. By the way, we'll take a look at the entire starting lineups brought to us by Larry H. Miller, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and Riverdale. Live here, work here, and buy here. For Utah State, Perkins, Perry, Smith, Moore, and Elston Jones gets the start after the quit of the team by Collette. Meantime, Singlin, you mentioned, Richardson, Baker, Ballenboy, and Braxton round up the starting 5s. Our official tonight, officials Nikki Carruthers, Doug Sturdivant, and Levon Zakarian. And they will adjudicate this contest before a raucous crowd here in the D Event Center.
Besides adjudicating, they're going to do a little refereeing too.
That
Steve.
too.
That too.
I just learned that word from you tonight, and I wanted to use it.
The biggest word I know is gymnasium, so don't throw a whole lot of things out there at me.
You got that right. There'll be no problem with that as Miles is set to jump center out there. You're going to get an early look at Moore too, and he is going to be out there against Ballenboy. Center circle, set to go. Aggies in the dark blue, trimmed in white. Wildcats, the home whites, trimmed in purple.
That's going to be a great matchup, Moore and Ballenboy.
Perkins on the outside, and we'll get the first three-point attempt of the night, and that's off the mark by Perry. One and done for the Aggies. Wildcats will look inside.
I'm a little surprised the Aggies gave way to their first shot being a three-pointer.
How about that one, Ballenboy? Inside, you talked about him working around the basket.
You know what it's going to amount to? Can Jalen Moore guard Ballenboy inside, and can Ballenboy guard Jalen Moore outside?
And that all remains to be seen.
Yes.
Ball out of bounds. Turnover by the Aggies.
The Aggies, one of the most offensive, efficient teams in the Mountain West last year, led the league in field goal shooting, three-point shooting, and assist-to-turnover ratio, already with one missed three and a turnover. They really struggled in their exhibition game last Saturday. Boy, were very disappointed there. Let's see if they can pick up the offensive efficiency here.
Well, how about that? The Bigs go inside. Braxton with that turnaround for the Wildcats, and they lead it 4-0.
Big redshirt freshman Zach Braxton getting his first collegiate start at 6'9", 250. Randy Ray thinking down the road he'll be one of the best post players in the league.
Another three-pointer, and this one won't fall either, as Jalen Moore tried his touch from the outside. And these rims not very friendly to the visiting team right now, and that's the way you want them.
I'm a little concerned that Utah State has not got an inside block catch yet. With Collette absent now, is that going to change their whole offensive philosophy and, again, just turn into a jump shooting team?
Well, it certainly changes rotations for Tim Duryea in his first coaching start. Senglin's shot rims out. That ball is available on the floor, and now on the end line, it'll go over to Utah State. Big Zach Braxton getting down as a coach. You love to see that, don't you?
Great effort by a freshman, again, giving his first collegiate start, his first collegiate game as a redshirt freshman. Rebounding is going to be really big in this game, Steve. Even though the Aggies beat Weber State up there last year, they did out-rebound them, so I think the glass work is going to play really big tonight.
They'll work the outside. Perry. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Now remember, we got 5 less seconds this year to work with on the shot clock.
And 2 seconds remain, so the Aggies won't have much time to get a play off and shoot the ball.
I think that's the first time we've seen the effect of going from a 35-second shot clock to a 30-second shot clock.
And I like the change. How about you, Coach?
Well, yeah, I think it's going to speed the game up. And again,
and Chris Smith was not aware of the clock situation, and you got a violation.
That's my very point. It's going to take a while to adapt to that, I think. Now 2 turnovers for the Aggies, who last year were so efficient taking care of the ball.
And 5 seconds may not sound like much, but it is when it comes to timing of a play.
You know, it affects timing, and I think you're probably going to get 5 to 7 more field goal attempts per team with a less shot clock.
High arcing 2 doesn't draw iron by Richardson, and it goes out of bounds, but Weber State will retain possession with 13 on that shot clock.
Ryan Richardson, a sophomore from Arizona, getting his first collegiate start as well. One of the best three-point shooters on the team last year. Kind of a one-dimensional player as a freshman. Missed that three-point shot badly.
Baker for 3. And this one finds the bottom.
Dusty Baker, another new player, a return missionary, played 1 year at Saddleback College, and Randy Ray calls him not only an outstanding shooter, but the best passer on this Weber State team.
Three-pointer brought to you by Health Mart, your locally owned Ogden area Health Mart pharmacies, caring for you and about you. Well, the Aggies go inside finally, and they make it pay.
Elston Jones, a big sophomore last year, played sparingly, kind of a hold-the-fort type guy as a freshman, getting the start with David Collette winning the team.
Yeah, that little runner doesn't go, but there's a foul in the lane, and it will go against the Wildcats. So Zach Braxton going to be tagged with that foul.
You know, as a coach, you don't mind a foul like that, Steve. You're a big guy trying to get to the glass and rebounding an aggressive foul. You want him to get all those you can within reason. It's when they make those silly fouls as a freshman that turns your hair gray.
In the lane, the shot comes up short. And the Wildcats want to push it up floor. To the rim and scoring, Dusty Baker.
Too quick a shot for the Aggies. That came after one pass, and that's what happens when you have poor shot selection, is the other team takes it and runs it down the court just like what happened.
It's all Weber State right now. 9-2 is the lead. Moore on the outside. And kicks it out. That three-pointer is good. Chris Smith drains one from 3.
Chris Smith, a senior, was a junior college player last year, made a huge impact, not at Utah State, but in the Mountain West Conference, the second leading three-point shooter in the Mountain West Conference last year, showing how he got to be the second best shooter in the Mountain West Conference.
Extended defense by the Aggies now, and from the corner, that shot is off the mark. and pulled down by Chris Smith for Utah State.
Not the shot that Randy Ray wants to see Bollenboy take from the coffin corner back there. I imagine he wants to see him in and around the basket a little more.
Well, how about the left-handed jump hook? Elston Jones, that thing was on its way down. That trajectory was above the rim.
Keep in mind, he's right-handed. The degree of difficulty for the big sophomore there was very high. Terrific to see him have that type of success with 2 baskets after just a few minutes.
Aggie starting to find the range. It's 9-7 as there's a foul committed underneath by Elston Jones, and a timeout taken. 14:42 remaining first half. A moment ago, Dusty Baker, the up-tempo Weber State. The early break, and Buskey right to the basket. 9-7, Wildcats by 2. The coach and his beautiful bride are in the house as we welcome you back. Frank and Barbara Layden here tonight. He's a fan.
Not two finer people in the whole state of Utah right there. Frank, a great friend and so positive with young coaches and old coaches alike, but he and Barbara are just such nice people.
And always got the smile on their face.
Always.
They truly are. They broke the mold, and thank goodness, because you only need one. They're just as good as it gets.
Frank told me one time, what's the most important thing in basketball? And I said, playing hard. No. Rebounding. No. He said, you still got to shoot the ball in the hole. Don't forget they got a scoreboard up there.
Free throw is good. So Bollenboy converting there.
Bollenboy, a pretty good free throw shooter, 73%, and shot 166 last year. He gets himself to the free throw line with great frequency.
So 1 of 2. He has 3 points now on the night, and the rebound came off to Moore, who has the ball, and that shot is off the mark. Again, 1 and done. The Aggies not rebounding all that well.
Too quick. You know, one of the characteristics of Utah State for the last 17 years has been great half-court offense and patience.
How about that for strength? Bollenboy holding off Moore with the offhand and still scoring, and he'll get a chance for the three-point play the old-fashioned way.
Well, remember I talked about this matchup, Steve. Could Bollenboy guard Moore on the perimeter, and could Moore guard Bollenboy inside? Right now, Bollenboy all over Moore on the perimeter, and Bollenboy just bullying Moore in the low block. I believe Utah State's going to have to come double that catch, which obviously that was not initially in the game plan.
Well, maybe they fouled him earlier. He's only 1 of 3 so far on the evening. So foul on the Wildcats. Kendall Hill getting tagged with his first.
Kendall Hill, kid who started every game last year. He and Gittens coming off the bench to give you a little example of Weber State's versatility and depth this year.
Shane Rector into the game for the Aggies. Their three-point shot up, and 1 and done again. And here come the Wildcats as they push it down the floor. Singlen. Bollenboy puts it on the floor, and they'll set up that half-court offense. They want to go down low, and they've got good position right there. Now the reset from the low block, but ball out of bounds, lost the ball.
Well, Steve, this may not be exactly right, but it's close to right. Utah State's gone inside twice, and Elston Jones has scored. Since then, they've given in to the jump shot, the three-point shot, and they've not had a whole lot of success. I think they need to be a little more patient and get that ball in the paint a little bit more.
Yeah, rushing it just a little. There's a little kick out for the 3 that's off the iron, and a whistle foul on that rebound. Hill came down with the ball.
Now, I like that. I like that dribble penetration into the paint. The game has got to be played from the inside out. Whether you throw it inside or you dribble it inside to collapse the defense, Utah State got a great look at the basket then off of that dribble penetration.
Evans gets tagged with his first personal foul.
Big Lou Evans, a transfer from Tulsa that spent a couple of weeks on the DL, so to speak, in practice. I suspect he'll be the guy that replaces Collette in the starting lineup down the road.
A shot off the iron and ripped down by Chris Smith. And the Aggies into forecourt. Shane Rector Here's the three-point shot from the corner, and it is good. Step back by Lou Evans.
And Lou Evans said, hey, coach, who needs to go down on the low block? Put me in, let me shoot that three-pointer at 6'8" or 6'9". Utah State in a zone now. They had a little trouble matching up with that guy right there. I think this is a good move going to their 2-3 matchup.
But that's good ball movement on the part of the Wildcats, and it pays off with a three.
Rashard Gittens, another kid that started 30 games last year, and their leading three-point shooter coming back, now coming off the bench and heating up pretty quick.
Shane Rector fouled in the lane, passed the ball instead of shooting it. Moment ago, that deep three from the corner. Here's the ball movement. And that shot is up and good, and that three brought to us by Health Mart, your locally owned Ogden area Health Mart pharmacies, caring for you and about you.
Rashard Gittens was the third leading scorer on this Weber State last year at just under 10 points. And whenever you have the luxury to bring guys like him and Hill off the bench, well, you've got some depth with that level of experience.
Inside, and you talked about the Aggies going inside. That's got to be the secret to their success, because if they stay on the perimeter the way the night has started out, the odds don't look really good.
That was great spacing by the three perimeter guys. A high ball screen right straight on from the basket. It really spread the defense, and a really nice, the old pick and roll, Steve, oldest plays there is in basketball.
That three off the mark, but a rebound and a foul underneath. And the timeout is taken. 11:37 remaining here in the first half. Got a good one going here in Ogden tonight. The Wildcats and the Aggies. And right now, the home team, Weber State, leads the Aggies 15-12. A look at the Utah State Aggie huddle. Tim Duryea in his inaugural head coaching job for a Division I basketball program. Let's take a look at his pedigree here. Of course, a longtime assistant at Utah State, but you start all the way back in 88 to 90 at Colorado State. And, you know, he and Randy Ray, as you well know,
sure,
Coach, on the same staffs. They know each other very well. They were with Stu Morrill for several years.
Very well, and very good friends. I knew Tim Duryea even before they started tracing his resume there. He was a student assistant at North Texas State back in the early 80s. I was at Texas Arlington. So Tim and I go a long way back. We both lost a lot of hair since then.
Well, you know, if that's the only loss, you're all right, Coach. That's all I can say.
Right. Lost hair and gained pounds, both of us.
10 seconds, and the drive. Shane Rector trying to go to the basket. Boy, a lot of banging underneath, and the rebound foul's being called.
Boy, I tell you, you cannot be faint of heart and be in this rebound battle tonight. Between both teams, Steve, only one offensive rebounds, which tells me both teams getting to the defensive glass and the block out. Look at that. Boy, just bodies flying, arms going. I told you rebounding would be really big in this game.
Rector can't get it to go. Rebound is no good by Evans. And it's still the Aggies underneath, and now they want 3 seconds, didn't get it. Well, they did get it. They got it. Actually, they got a dribble violation, double dribble, but it certainly seemed like more than 3 seconds.
This Shane Rector is one of the only newcomers on this Aggie team out of Miami-Dade Junior College, the same place that Perkins is from, and he is quick as a hiccup. Watch him go right to left on that crossover. He gets to the basket in a blink of an eye. He's had trouble finishing so far, but he certainly got there quickly.
Gittens on the outside. 9 seconds on the clock. Dusty Baker, high arcer off the basket. And here come the Utah State Aggies. Long shots, long rebounds. And quick strike by the Aggies, and it pays dividends down underneath as well with Richardson.
And that was a great execution running the floor by Taylor there to a quick post-up.
I beg your pardon, Quinn Taylor was the man. Utah State now on a 7-0 run. So the Aggies coming back. They trail by one at 15-14.
Utah State getting more penetration, getting the ball to the paint much more than they were early in the game, giving into the three-point shot.
Gittens' shot won't fall for him. And Rector on the outside. Aggies looking inside. They've got that low post presence, and they get it in down there right now. Lou Evans working. that square up. Now he tries to feed it into the lane. Too much traffic. And the Aggies turn it over one more time. Alley-oop. Oh, couldn't throw it down with one hand. Skywalking, but not quite high enough. It would have brought the crowd out of their seats as Rector goes to the basket and commits the offensive foul.
And once again, I said Shane Rector getting to the basket with frequency, but he can't finish it. I hate the way he releases the ball in that little flip there. Good concentration. He's got to hold on to the ball with both hands for my money. Anyway, until you make one go in, you're not doing anything right.
Well, we saw Frank Layden here. One of his favorite sayings was the operation was a success, but the patient died.
You ain't lying.
So it's a great move to the basket. He just couldn't finish.
$1 million move and a 2-cent shot. It don't count unless it goes in, brother.
So Wildcats with the ball and a 1-point lead at 15-14. Nowhere to go for Baker. And the Wildcats turn it over. Rector, crossover between the legs, about everything else. And now Utah State, a lot of time on that clock. Playing with a little bit of urgency that maybe they don't quite need. The three is no good. And again, it's one and done. Wildcats crash that defensive board.
Well, Shane Rector is a kid that doesn't have any trouble finding shots. You know, some kids have trouble finding shots. He's got a bunch of them in a short period of time.
Does that coach speak for maybe ought to pass it a few more times?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just checking, Coach. Moore rips it down.
Meanwhile, I don't think this kid's attempted shot. Perkins, one of the best three-point shooters in the league last year. Again, Utah State led the league in three-point shooting, and right there is evidence why.
Yeah, you saw that long three.
Chris Smith can not only make it go in from there, the kid from Sacramento, he can make tough three-point shots, Steve. I seen him last year make them with guys hanging all over him. He makes them tough, and that was contested. That was a tough shot.
After a slow start, the Aggies lead by 2.
And you see Weber State has made the adjustment to come double team Ballenboy. Ballenboy very wisely threw it out of that double team.
And Gittens with a three gives the Wildcats the lead. So it was a short-lived lead for the Utah State Aggies.
Utah State actually made that little comeback without its leading scorer, Jalen Moore, in the game. I kind of get the feeling, or I do, that they're having trouble getting Jalen Moore involved here.
Well, that one high off the glass. By the way, that Weber State basket ended a 4-minute scoring drought for the Wildcats.
Well, not only was it one reason it was a scoring drought, they turned it over about 4 times, too. They played the first 5 minutes with no turnovers, and then they became very turnover prone. And I think this Utah State zone has got them back on their heels a little bit. And Steve, the reason Utah State can play is on their playing zone after they make baskets, and on misses they stay in their man-to-man.
Braxton missed for the Wildcats a moment ago. Well, that's about as good a look as you're going to get if you're Moore, and he clunks it off the back of the iron. It's just not his night so far from the shooting side of things.
No, I like that three. In rhythm as a trailer there.
Out of bounds. Timeout. On the floor, 6:38 until halftime. But a moment ago, Gittens ending the scoring drought. Utah State on an 11-3 run. This was the only Weaver points. And it's 19-18 as we step aside. He's got the right idea. Just kick back, relax. I hope you're doing the same at home on this Friday night. Enjoy the in-state basketball matchup between your Aggies and Wildcats.
Got a good one going on, 19-18. And that little one's got the right idea. Just lay back and take it all in.
You know, interesting stat, Joe, as we get a look at these. The Aggies have actually out-rebounded the Wildcats by a 16-9 count. Unless I'd seen it in print, I wouldn't have believed it. Yeah, Weber State shooting 36.8 from the floor. The Aggies 42.1. Both got 19 attempts, but one more make by the Aggies.
Steve, at the last timeout, it was 7-7 on the glass, and that proves one thing, that Utah State's getting stops. I thought they had Weber State had more turnovers, but they've only got them down for a couple. and Utah State much more aggressive than in the first 5 minutes of getting to the basket, not giving in to the long jump shot.
Yeah, Chris Smith with that basket. Well, we talked about that little run the Aggies. Was not such a little run. The Aggies made 11-3, and of course they did it by getting rebounds and getting possessions.
I got to go back to when I was the coach here, and we played Utah, Utah State, and BYU every year. And I thought that if you didn't rebound in those in-state games, you had no chance. It was just won or lost on the glass. And as I said, rebounding very big in this game tonight.
So at the free throw line, Weber State with an opportunity to cut into that lead. Singlen. Well, that doesn't help you. You know, Ballin Boys missed a couple of free throws.
Well, Singlen's their leading scorer last year before he missed the last 6 games due to a broken jaw. Weber State went 3-3 in those games. He's yet to score a point tonight. His first point.
Yeah, look how far we're into this game.
Yes.
14 minutes.
You know, he may be shaking a little rust off. You missed the last couple weeks of the season, and then I don't know how much he had to avoid contact after that. But, you know, this is his first time under the lights for a while, so he's only shot 1 field goal, so he's kind of feeling his way around.
Offensive foul. That was Lou Evans. Got tagged for the Aggies, I believe.
If you're watching on TV and you want to see how physical this game is, watch away from the ball. That play there looked like big-time wrestling. I mean, you know, we all have a tendency to focus on the ball. Watch under the basket, particularly when the ball goes up. And, I mean, it is mine, old man over there, boy, I tell you.
Yeah, you're going to get that. Look down low again as Zach Braxton just laid a little wood to somebody. And I think it's Lou Evans that comes up on the receiving end. You can see in a little bit of distress right there. But you called it. That was that down low. And they're going to need a little timeout to talk about it. The Aggie coaching staff not happy about it. They thought it was that it was an obvious foul.
His second, team 6.
Well, he got it right in the chops.
Well, that, you know, if that, what the officials have to determine here in college basketball, was that a basketball play? Nah, I don't know. That looked like a little extracurricular there to me. But, Steve, we were talking about Weber State's leading scorer, Singlen, not scoring. Jalen Moore's not scored yet, the leading scorer for WSU. So, I mean, for USU. So here we are, 21-19, with neither team's leading scorer scoring a point yet.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's going to change. The question is, which one will break out first, right?
Yeah. You know, the Aggies suffered a surprising upset in an exhibition game. Here we go again.
Yeah, that little flopping there, but that arm went right to the face, too.
Yeah.
So you've got a little bit on both sides of things. Yeah, Lou Evans kind of milks it a little bit, but he got hit in the chops, too. And let's face it, Zach Braxton at 6'9", 250, the redshirt freshman.
He doesn't have to hit you too hard,
no,
does he,
he
to get your attention anyway.
Nah, redshirt freshman out of Highlands Ranch High School in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Comes in and lets his presence be felt.
And again, as a coach, you want, especially those post players, to be aggressive like that. And I'm not sure he threw, no,
it wasn't malicious elbow.
Malicious elbow. Thank you for malicious. I'm searching there for something.
You just want him to be more sneaky,
That's right.
As a coach.
Yeah.
You don't care if he does
Pick
that.
your places.
Just be a little sneakier about it.
But he is a big boy, 6'9", 250, and just a freshman. He and Ballenboy together are a formidable front line for the Big Sky in particular.
Well, I think they've got whatever they. The officials talking this one over because I think they want to try to decide what they're doing. There was a whistle there, and it'll be interesting to see what the call is. I haven't seen it, frankly, yet, and the fact that they're still discussing it, I think we're solving world hunger here because it's taken a while.
It's one of two things. Either they can't decide or the officials need a break. And, it's early in the year. They're getting a breather. Look for one of them to smoke a cigarette here in the interim.
They're going to talk to both coaches and explain. Now, watch for body language. That'll tell you who's not happy about it.
No one's going to be happy, I guarantee you.
Yeah, Randy Ray there with the jacket off, and Tim Duryea, again, good friends, as we pointed out, known each other for a long time.
Really good friends. Very similar backgrounds.
I think Tim got a better side of the deal. Okay, so 44 is the personal foul, and a flagrant foul called.
A flagrant one, which means they shoot free throws, but he doesn't get run off. He gets to play. He doesn't
so they
get
call a
kicked out
personal on him and the flagrant on him as well, which is why Randy Ray did not look happy.
No, from this point on, neither coach is going to look happy for the next 4 months. I guarantee you.
That's probably true. Spoken like the veteran that you are. All right, so we got that one adjudicated, and they're ready to go. And now it's 22-19, and the Aggies have the lead, and they have the basketball.
It's been a very fast-paced game, but a low-scoring game. Wildcats only 19 points. Remember, they jumped out, was it 7-0 or 9-0?
Yeah, they had that early lead.
And it looked like they were going to cruise offensively, and things have come to a halt.
All right, well, there Moore goes inside, and he's going to get the opportunity for the and one. So Jalen Moore now breaks into the scoring column, but we played 15 minutes.
Yes, once again, great spacing. 3 guys away from the ball. Watch this pick and roll on the empty side. No one over there. The help a little late, but great concentration and completion by Jalen Moore.
So Jalen Moore goes to the line. Leading scorer a year ago. I love it because he still sports that afro. He's had that all through high school and everything else. And of course, high school fans know of his heroics in this building a couple of years ago. Utah State now on a 7-1 run. And Jalen, the son of Jimmy Moore, the guy that I had the privilege of calling when he was in college, jumping Jimmy Moore at Utah State, one of the finest gentlemen you're ever going to meet. Shot outside, it's good for 3. And again, that three-pointer brought to you by Health Mart, your locally owned Ogden area Health Mart pharmacies.
Now Weber State's leading scorer gets into the action there with Singleton jumping up. Great ball movement out of the post.
And that ball blocked against the backboard. Actually almost pinned by Boloboy, and on the other end, the early offense results in a foul going to the basket.
Wow, was that not only a great block, that was off the glass. It looked like a long outlet pass. That looked like a sure basket.
And then they came the other way so quickly.
Great transition basketball there.
Foul called, and Moore has a pair of personal fouls right now, so foul trouble for Jalen Moore to go along with his shooting issues. Jeremy Singleton with the basket, or the free throw rather.
Well, Steve, I expect this to be a close game. I don't think either team is going to go away. There may be some mini runs as we've experienced already. The Wildcats start with a run, the Aggies come back with a run, and now Weber State coming back with a run, and both of them have been predicated on defense, not great offense.
Singleton has 6, and that gets the Wildcats within 1 for the moment. Now this one is probably going to be called goaltending. Indeed it is. It's basket interference. But you saw the jumping ability of Hill just a moment ago. All 6'7" of him, and he plays well above the rim on this one.
No, this once again, this is a deep Wildcat team. They've got 4 post guys they can rotate through there, which is a terrific luxury.
Bounce pass inside. Nice drop pass on the baseline, and Boloboy finishes it off.
Boy, that was a high level of execution there. I'm not a big fan of that paint-to-paint pass by post players because they're usually not skilled enough. Boy, they executed that one. It was a beautiful way.
You talked about the runs. Until that basket, it was a 7-0 Wildcat run.
Lou Evans is the second time he has faced up at about 12 feet and shot it in easily. He is going to be a dandy for these Aggies.
He's got 8. 3-point edge right now for Utah State. Boloboy trapped over in that corner. When you're 6'9" and you jump the way he does, though, you can pass out of it, and they get the basket going down the lane.
And you hit it right on the head, Boloboy. You don't like him out there shooting it, but he can pass over the defense. He put one on the money there to the elbow to get Dusty Baker that wide open drive.
Approaching 3 minutes left in the first half. Evans slapped away. Oh, my. I believe they called it. That one was just absolutely rejected as timeout is taken. 3:01 left first half. The Aggies with the lead 31-28. But Bollenboy showing his leaping ability. What you'd like to see is that one, though, kept in the field of play. But Bollenboy can get up in the air, and he can throw him down.
He gets up quick, brother.
Wildcat Sports on KJAZ are presented by Health Mart, your locally owned Ogden area Health Mart pharmacies, caring for you and about you. And by Larry H. Miller Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Riverdale. Live here, work here, buy here.
Welcome back, everybody. After the goaltending call on that last block, Aggies with the lead at 31-28 here. Aggies shooting 52% from the floor to 45.5 for the Wildcats. So both teams starting to find the range a little bit in this opener.
Well, I think of the Aggies' 31 points, 16 of them have come in the paint. I made the comment early in the game that they needed to be more aggressive going inside, and they've done just that.
That air ball, Weber State went outside. Rector shot for three.
I'm telling you, that kid can fall out of bed and find a shot, can he, Steve? I mean, it is a talent being able to find open shots, and this kid, they just come in bunches, too.
That's what Ron Boone used to tell us all the time. Listen, it's a talent to find those shots. I told him he had a lot of talent.
Yeah, exactly. Great point.
Wildcats on the perimeter looking inside the Bollenboy, but he's well guarded down there on the low block. Three-pointer off the back of the iron. And chased down by Shane Rector.
Contested shot then by Singleton. I would have liked to see him maybe either keep the ball moving or shot fake it and drive it there. That wasn't an awful shot, but it wasn't anything to write home about either.
Under 2 minutes left to play here in the first half. Competitive half, we knew it would be. Well, how about Rector? He's got some moves there. Hangs and can't get the soft bounce, but Bollenboy rips it down.
Boy, is he quick to the ball. Bollenboy just comes out of nowhere to block shots and get rebounds. I like that one because it was a man-sized rebound with two hands. All great rebounders rebound with two hands.
Bollenboy being fronted and then being fouled. Quinn Taylor was the man who came in to try and knock it away. The 6'8" redshirt freshman out of Houston, Texas.
That probably was a foul, but I'm not sure it was that official's call. He was out here close to us. I thought the guy underneath should have had that call, but you know what do I know?
I know if you'd have been sitting on a bench, you'd have let him know about it. Hey, don't go anywhere, because coming up at the half, Joe and I will have highlights and analysis of the first half. Also, we're going to be joined by Weber State Athletic Director Jerry Bovee. A lot of good things going on here at Weber State. We look forward to that conversation with Jerry. So just a couple of minutes away, about 1:18 and counting.
Bollenboy with two makes there and shot them both very, very well.
Another turnover by the Aggies.
Their seventh, I think, Steve. Is that what it is?
I believe so. Let me check the stats right here in front of me. Of course, they get these little stat monitors, you know, for us old guys, a little bit tough.
Well, we either need a bigger stat monitor or stronger glasses, one. Or younger announcers, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not sure they make stronger glasses, so I think our choices are definitely limited.
Watch Bollenboy and Jones going at it down there. They need to come at Bollenboy there. There you go.
And bring the double. Now he drops back again.
I think the key is when he puts it on the floor, they come and double.
Well, they did on the other side as well, and it was stripped away because Kendall Hill was there as we've got a whistle at the rim. And a foul going to be called on Weber State.
Well, when this kid gets the ball in his hands, you better get suited up because he's got one thing on his mind. He's getting it to the basket.
McKay Cannon was the man who tried to strip it out of his hands, and his crowd, for obvious reasons, thought it was a nice, clean strip.
Well, that might just even things up because I'm not sure there was a foul in the post. That was an awful free throw. Look how quick he dropped his hands there. all good shooters hold their hand or follow through till the ball hits the rim. This kid looked like he had a pocket full of loose change. Look at that.
Boy, it's a flick, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, maybe Sean Marion or something. I mean, it's a flick.
I thought maybe he thought he was going to lose some quarters out of his pocket or something there, the way he dropped those hands.
Well, it's a 5-point Aggie lead, but this has been a very competitive first half.
Well, remember last year up in Logan, Weber State led by 14, and the Aggies came out the second half and held them to, no, they led by 18, and Weber State was held to 14 points the second half and 17% shooting. So who knows, anything can happen.
Was it a colder night up there in Logan?
I wasn't there. I just read the notes. And what I didn't know, I just made up as I went along.
It works, Coach. Don't worry about it. Welcome to broadcasting, right?
There you go.
You've been doing this enough years, you know the drill. So with 45 seconds remaining here in the first half, Weber State trying to get back those 5 points. And the Aggies will extend defensively. Just trying to disrupt. It's not that hard press. It's just to disrupt the offensive flow, and especially with that 30-second clock now, if you can take 4 or 5 seconds off by making them bring it across the timeline a little bit more slowly, you really affect the rotation.
But this is a momentum possession here. If Weber State can score and go in only down 2 or 3, they'll feel good. If Utah State gets a stop here, then they gain the momentum going in.
Well, there's going to be a foul on the play because Dusty Baker was heading for the basket.
Number 9.
Tim Duryea rolling the dice a little bit, putting Jalen Moore back in on offense, and that's not that big a gamble. They'll have the ball. Jalen Moore, remember, with 2 fouls.
Yeah, Perry picked up that foul. You got several guys with 2 fouls, as you point out, Coach, and you know you got to worry about that a little bit.
Especially a game that's this physical,
sure,
because you can go from 2 to 4 pretty quick.
Yeah, you've got Moore with 2 for the Aggies, along with Jones and along with Lou Evans. Meantime, on the other side, Braxton has a pair for Weber State.
Weber State kind of getting well at the free throw line right now. Dusty Baker, Randy Ray says, really brings a new level of offense to his team, the way he shoots it and passes it. 3 years left coming out of Saddleback Community College in California.
1 possession game. Weber extends the defense now, and they'll settle back. A little bit of a matchup zone going there for a moment, and now you've got Rector going to the basket. And Ballin Boy, that ball was touched on the rim. They'll take it away. They'll call offensive interference.
I don't think that was going in. Bring me back to my point that Rector, a great driver who's not finished yet tonight.
See, they took it away. We'll see what happens when we look at the replay. He gets challenged by Ballin Boy.
Yeah, he got his hand. I think that was going in, but Big Jones got his hand on the rim.
Well, we're at halftime here in Ogden. A lot of fun in the first half. Expect nothing less for in-state basketball, and especially when you're opening the season against a rival. These two not far apart, about 40 miles difference between Ogden and Logan. And boy, it's played just like one of those rivalries. The Wildcats got out to the early start, and then the Aggies came back and they hold a 3-point lead at the intermission.